Hello, guys. My name's Dawson. Welcome to the very first Nerd Post podcast. I'm here with my co-host Anthony.
Hello.
And we are going to be diving into everything and anything nerd. We invite you guys to check us out on our Twitter at Dawson108, Big Ant 601, and our official Twitter at the MP Official. We'll have all those linked in the description below. For any questions, content, we want you guys to be a part of this conversation and a part of this experience with us. So if there's anything that you'd like to know about, any questions you have of us, please let us know. Right now, this is the very first one that we're doing. So we want to start off this podcast and start off this content with letting you guys know a little bit about ourselves, let you guys know a little bit about how we got into this kind of content and how we got to where we are right now. So I'm going to let Anthony, like I said, my co-host, is going to give you a little bit of an idea of where he came from. So Anthony, what brought you to where you are right now?
Anything fun?
Anything fun. Anything fun.
Well, it was, I'd say, X-Men cartoons in the 90s, but before that, probably was...
Man, I love it.
Oh
my God, those are so good.
Voltron, of course, I watched all of those. The G.I. Joes, I played with those.
Are you still able to find Voltron and like any of those cartoons, like that kind of stuff? Is that still like, are they on streaming services or anything?
Old stuff, I don't know for
Have you seen it
sure,
anywhere?
but there
I'm
is
so
two new
curious.
seasons of it on Netflix.
Really?
Actually, maybe more than that.
Oh shit!
Yes,
I'm gonna have to watch that.
I've seen.
I'm gonna watch that because I have not watched that stuff since, like you were saying, since I was a kid. So
stuff.
it started as that as a kid.
Yes.
When you got older, did it continue? Was it something that kind of dropped off?
It kind of dropped off,
Okay.
but I've always watched the animated films. Of course, that's all that was going on throughout the times. But of course, I watched the Flash TV show. And,
Yeah.
Early
now that
on.
we're kind of in that mecca,
Yes.
like the celebration of comics and nerdism and stuff like that, it's a little bit easier to be a nerd
very
these
easy,
days.
Very easy, yes.
So
Very easy to get back to the roots.
Yes, absolutely. So I mean, would you say that you're more? Would you say if we did a hierarchy,
Mhm.
would you be more TV, movies, comic books? How would you rate yourself as far as that kind of level goes?
Top to bottom, got to go with movies, into animation and TV are pretty much.
Yeah, I was like,
right there.
ever since I've known you. So
Yeah.
Anthony and I've known each other for about what 5 years now,
Yeah,
and something like that. And ever since I've known you, like that's been the one thing that I know that you've talked about the most is TV shows. That's going to be this thing that like you have always kind of gravitated towards that. I've tried and recommended to me.
Yes.
Like I've watched a lot just because of your recommendations. Right. So you would go more starting at the movies, going to the TV shows slash animation, and then like from there.
Yes.
Okay.
Comic books, digital comics.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Okay. Was there any like influence when it came to like what took you there? Like as far as like any, was it friends? Was it or was it just kind of you on your own, just kind of doing it by yourself?
Kind of me on my own. I was an only child, and so my friends were probably doing other things, and I was playing with my toys. I had my cousins, but I had a cousin that was way older than me, and he found himself playing with toys a lot, like G.I. Joes and Batman. And
Gotcha.
I'm like, he was like 16 and I was like 11, and I was like, this is right up my alley. But for you, I don't know, but whatever floats your boat. And so, yeah, we used to always play with those, and so I've
kind of got you
kind
a
of
little bit into it.
fell
and
in
stuff.
love with like the Batman and Superman to DC when that part of my life came around.
I'm gonna throw it out honestly to my mom. My mom got me into comic books when I was a kid. It was one of those things I used to buy comics when they were in the grocery stores on the for kids spinners, like the comic spinner racks and stuff.
Yes.
And I remember buying Sonic the Hedgehog comics. That was like my jam. I loved reading those comics to the point where I wore them out, and I'm pissed off now just because like I found out how much they're worth now, and mine are all torn up and worn out. But
it'll happen.
But yeah, so she got me into comics as a kid, and kind of did that thing with me. My mom's a super nerd, so she kind of kept me going into that kind of stuff.
Yes.
Kind of the same thing falling through my life. Like both, like my mom worked in a movie store. My first job was in a movie store. So that, you know, kind of led me into like getting into movies and TV shows, and dropped off of comics when I like was kind of in high school, you know, kind of like probably most of us did. Yeah. Like all the stuff that we're talking about, probably both of us kind of during high school era, like I'm sure going on, yeah, like most of us. So dropped off of that, and then kind of put it on hold. And it wasn't until well, I mean, I always kept up with like I guess the movies. The movies were the big thing for me, like movies and Star Wars. I grew up like watching Star Trek to go to sleep, like as a kid, like on my old like CRT black and white TV and stuff like that. Would like watch. No one listening. We're on a podcast, and so obviously not even the people that designed what is going on right now would understand what I'm talking about. But on a little CRT TV, I would go to sleep watching the Next Generation Star Trek episodes, and kind of just went from there. The first time I actually knew. Well, actually, let me ask you, when's the first time, like, did you ever get to a point where you felt a sense of community for the things you were interested in? Because, you know, when I met you, we just kind of connected because of this stuff. Yes. Not knowing your personality, not knowing anything about you, we just kind of connected because we're like, oh, correct. Shit, we both like nerd stuff. Exactly. We both like this, like Flash. We both like DC, Marvel, blah blah blah. Did you have like friends later in life that liked it, like other than me, like that were kind of interested in this stuff?
So once I picked back up on it, which is later in life, would probably be what was before Iron Man. I mean,
oh shit, Hulk. What was that? So that was 2008, 9. Yes. Yeah. And Hulk was right 2008.
Yeah. So it was. I don't know what other movies were going on before that, but X-Men.
I guess yeah.
So I had the following then, and I was watching those, but I mean, I didn't have a community around me of people that I knew that was into this stuff.
Not a ton of like friends that were similar interest about that kind of stuff.
Now that, like you say, that we're in the meat of it and everything's going on around you, like everywhere you look, it's going on.
Everybody, yeah.
I know a lot of people now that are into it, that are talking about it. You hear it at random. Dude, I was at a Mexican restaurant getting lunch one day, and I heard a guy say, he was something about Ultron at the time, and it was I was like, wow, he was talking about this at random, and I heard it and I wanted to join in the conversation, but I was like, let me leave it alone.
Dude, oh my god, I love that so much because like you're absolutely right. Like there's been so many times when I've been like overhearing somebody talking about stuff, and I'm like, oh my god, I really want to jump into this conversation right now, but I'm just gonna look really kind of odd, just like I'm sneaking into what. Yes. But that's so funny. That's crazy. Yeah, I mean, I guess like,
so you're my community, and just a few others. I mean, but I know a lot of people that still like watch it, and they'll ask questions about it, and I'll have answers for them. But they're not all the way in, but they want to be. You've
definitely I mean, you definitely immerse yourself. I will definitely say that for the time that I've known you, as far as especially like I said, when it comes to the TV universe and everything, which is great. It's great for me personally, because I love that I have somebody that it's something that I don't. I'm not going to say I it's not that I don't have an interest in it. It's more that I haven't pursued it.
So I guess only so much time in a day, man.
And yeah, exactly. And so it's nice to have somebody that like can give you the facts, give you the updates, be like, have the finger on the pulse and say, hey, this is something that you should probably check out, because it was because of you that I watched a lot of the shows, on Netflix and all that kind of stuff when it came to, honestly, Flashpoint.
Oh,
I mean, we can get into the details of this on another episode, but watching Flashpoint, I was like, oh my God, this is a great. This is what animation is now. Like, I was like, I didn't know. So that's been a pretty wild ride. I do remember, I'll say, just in this getting to know each other section, the one point that sticks out in my mind pretty heavily is I was like I said, big Star Trek fan, big Next Generation fan, and the Next Generation movie was coming out. I was probably I think I was maybe 11, 12, something like that. Like pretty young. Young enough my parents had to drive me to the movie theater. And we had this little movie theater where I grew up in Wichita, Kansas, and went there. It was probably like a 3-screen theater, nothing huge, nothing like we have now and all the craziness that we have now. And I got there with my parents, and I walk in, and everybody's dressed up. Like, everybody's like all geeked out, dressed up in their costumes, dressed up in their Star Trek gear, and they're doing a contest. They're doing, like, they have a guy up on like at the front that's like asking trivia questions, and he's asking these trivia questions about Star Trek, and he's asking the audience members to answer. Now, I'm like 11, 12, something like that. I'm really shy, don't want to really get into it because I'm like nervous and whatnot. But my parents are standing next to me, and my mom's all geeked out. She's like, this is cool. My dad is like, what the fuck what is this? Like, he did not fucking understand it whatsoever. But it was hilarious. Like, I mean, he was just like completely outside his element. My mom and I are completely in our element. But both of them, I remember distinctly, it was really funny that they reacted the exact same way. Whenever the guy would ask questions, I wouldn't like raise my hand or anything like that, but I would answer. Like, I would, like, he'd be like, what is blah 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 blah, and I'd be like, oh, that's episode blah blah blah, or that's this person, or that's the Klingons, or that's the whatever. I would answer like kind of under my breath, and my parents would hear me, and they'd look down because, like, I'd answer, and then he'd call on somebody, and they'd answer and say the same thing. And my parents would just like look at me like, what the fuck is going on? Like, they did not understand that like I was like so invested in the stuff. So, I mean, I could go on and I'll save it for future podcast about like my complete nerdism, because it goes into me making home videos and shit like that and all kinds of stuff. But we grew up in the last 4 years and just kind of like, I'd say the fucking golden age of movie
very golden
universe when it comes to that kind of stuff. TV universe, everything right now is, I mean, it's a great time to be a nerd. It's a great time to be into comics, be into all these types of different things. Now, I will say that we're not gonna keep the podcast as just strictly comics. We're not gonna just do Marvel and DC or things of that nature. We'll branch out, and we definitely, like I said at the beginning of this, we want you guys to help us in this endeavor, to give us ideas, things that you want us to cover, things that you want us to review. So if there's any kind of platform, I mean, both of us have our own interests. I love different things like, Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones and, Stranger Things and different things like that. And we're happy to cover and do any of those types of things too. Anthony has his own interests. I mean, are there things, what would you say were a couple things that you like aside from DC Marvel?
Aside from DC Marvel, there would be music. I love listening to all kinds of music. It doesn't matter the genre. What else do I like to do?
You had said like shoes and stuff too, right?
Yeah, I'm into shoes. I'm into basketball. I'm into watching basketball. Not so much into the NFL, but that's another topic for another day.
For sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, even stuff like that. I mean, nothing's kind of off the board when it comes to this. I mean,
yes.
the show's called The Nerd Post, but I mean, that's just because we're both nerds. Doesn't mean that it's going to be pigeonholed into one specific topic. So, anyway, so we're gonna go ahead and get the show started. After, so now that we've kind of gotten to let you guys know a little bit about ourselves,
we broke the ice.
Broke the ice. I'm gonna say that let's talk. We want to start the show off each time, kind of talking about like kind of what you did during the week. I want to know like kind of what you were watching, what kind of shows you were into, what was going on in your week.
What I usually do throughout the week is I get on my Google News feed, and I usually see stuff on there, and I'm reading articles all day long.
I know you always seem to have the info before me. Like I always have to search for the info that you're giving me. I'm like, how the fuck did he find this so goddamn fast?
It's all stuff that's relevant to me and stuff that I like, and it's just all here on the Google News feed, and it just gives it to me. And it gives me an option to know to whether I want to see it or not, if it's relevant or not, if I'm interested in it or not, so I can delete some stuff or keep some stuff.
For sure.
Yeah, but so I've been reading a lot of articles based on
stuff that's going on
right now.
Have you watched anything? Have you seen any TV shows or movies that you've been watching this week or anything?
The wife and I have been trying to catch up on a show that we been watching, Marvel's Cloak and Dagger. We're only like 5 episodes in because
is it any good? I haven't seen it. I honestly, that's one I have not seen.
It's pretty good. Of course, I'm supposed to say that, but no, it's pretty good. I like it.
Is it first season?
It's first season, yes.
Okay. I was gonna say I couldn't. I knew that there was a lot of press around it.
We watched The Runaways at some point also. That's good as well. Like
The Runaways?
Runaways. That was Marvel.
I wanted to look into that too because it I knew the comic series and stuff like that, so I wasn't sure if it was based off the same thing or if it was just
yes, but there's a dinosaur. Yes,
I was pretty good. Pretty both of them pretty all right.
They're pretty good. For me not to have heard about them, that as far as Runaways goes, Cloak and Dagger I had heard about, I knew about, I'd seen cartoons about them as well.
The actual characters and stuff.
Yes. So I kind of knew their story background and whatnot, but
for them you didn't know too much about it.
Yeah, no, I didn't.
Gotcha. Is that well, there was another. What was the other what was the other show that you were watching that I was not following? There was another it was like a Marvel
Legion.
Yes, Legion. You had you'd kind of like gotten hard into that.
All right, so I made it. We're gonna say about 6 episodes in.
6 episodes,
maybe 6 or 7.
Was it
it was trippy.
It was a network show, so I mean, did it have a FX, full did it have like a full 24 episodes, or was it a smaller kind of like Netflix type series? I think it
was smaller.
Okay, okay.
Maybe 13, 14 episodes.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Honestly, I mean, I'm behind on it. I got over
just life kind of stuff. Episodes. It wasn't that you weren't interested.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Okay. Other shows have come out and
other stuff happening.
Dude,
so nothing against it. You
exactly. I plan. It's just on my DVR. I plan to go back and watch it, and
it's on the docket.
Yeah.
Just because I remembered like after you had talked about it, I got really excited and I watched I think like 1 or 2 episodes, and it is weird. That's a weird fucking show, but
I was so excited about it being like related to X-Men, so
any more that and now they have the Gifted
that came on last night.
And is this the second season of that? Yeah, I was going to say it's the second season of that.
First season was pretty good.
And you watched the first season?
Yes.
I haven't watched it at all, but like, man, I swear these promos for the second season, they are looking good, and I'm like, it really did get me really kind of interested in kind of catching that on TV and stuff like that. I'll have to see. I don't know. Is it on Hulu?
It's on. Yeah, it's on Hulu.
It'll be on Hulu probably.
What are we talking about again?
Gifted.
It's on Fox. Actually.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Well, yeah,
yes,
and I have that app too. So yeah, if you guys are interested
at all, then is on Hulu.
Yeah. Anyway, okay, so we're gonna go ahead and jump into the news for the week. We got there's all kinds of again, we're not like sticking strictly to comics or anything like that, but it just so happens that there is quite a bit of Marvel and DC news going on right now.
Marvel's winning, by the way.
That's no joke, for sure. The first thing we're gonna start off with Captain Marvel, the trailer. Now, this came out a little bit ago. Plenty of people have covered it, so you guys probably have already seen a lot of stuff. But we're just gonna kind of go quickly through a few things, just because it was a very impactful trailer. I thought I really did like it. It really got me excited. I know that I was. Not saying like nothing. I mean, I love the actress playing the character and stuff like that. So it wasn't anything about her. Brie Larson. Yeah. But I just I wasn't sure how. I mean, I guess DC did so well with Wonder Woman. I didn't want this to feel like the first time that Marvel was kind of copying, the. Hey, let's do our girl. Yeah. But I mean, I guess that's not the case because they've had this in development for a long time. So that's not really the case. And it feels like they fucking knocked it out of the park, like they've done for everything they've done. Yeah. It's set in the 90s, so we're going back to a 90s set time era, which I love. It does feel a little combative to the fact that the second Wonder Woman is Wonder Woman 1984.
1984, yes.
So Wonder Woman's 1984, and they're like, well, fuck you. We're going to do fucking the 90s. Fuck you, punk rock. So we got that. I love the intro fucking busting in the blockbuster. Yes. Just like everyone's been talking about. Love the busting into the blockbuster. That's like...
nostalgia.
It's so great. We have Jude Law. Yes. Playing confirmed Marvel now. Confirmed okay. Marvel.
All right.
So they have him. Not sure if he's good guy, bad guy. We're not 100% sure. Some people have broken apart the trailer already, that they've seen like some things about when she starts to power up, they see like a character in the background. Not sure if it's him. Not sure if it's a Kree or a Skrull.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's a lot of mystery still behind Jude Law because he didn't really appear very much in the trailer.
Right, he didn't, not at all.
He was kind of just bits and pieces here and there. But so that'll be really interesting to kind of find out a little bit more information about his character.
Well, the whole Star Force team that she's a part of in the green and blue suits or whatnot.
Yeah.
I think there's supposed to be some kind of coup that's going to happen, and she's not going to be in on it, or she's not going to want to be in on it.
Or maybe.
Of course, Ronan is a part of that crew,
Ronan,
as well as
what's his name?
Crow.
He was in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yes.
The first part. Yeah.
Anyway. This is Africa. Anyway, all right, moving on.
But so both of them, we know that Ronan is eventually, because this is a prequel, essentially, going to defect. He's going to go in and decide to be kind of a more, he doesn't agree with the ideals and stuff like that of the Kree. So he's going to become more of a, like, I guess estranged or
villainous leader.
I mean, he's gonna have his own own plan, own agenda at some point.
Yeah.
Whether we see that in the film, I don't know. Whether we see that kind of fruition actually happen. I mean, I feel like, to me, we've already had the Ronin bad guy.
Right.
I don't feel like this movie should be the Ronin bad guy, because we've already had that. I think so. Maybe you see that like sprinkling that at the end
maybe you'll
of
see
the movie.
That,
yeah. So
because they're supposed to be a good force. The Star Force is supposed to be good.
Yeah.
But then, there's a turn.
Yeah, and he's like listed and like we were saying, like Jude Law is listed as the leader of the Star Force. So I think most of your movie is that. Right. Most of the movie is good because, again, like we were talking about, we have the Skrull. So Skrull and Ben Mendelsohn. Is that Mendelsohn? Mendelsohn? I can't. I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. Maybe. He's playing Talos. Looks like, the leader of the Skrull. And infiltrated into. I love him, by the way. I mean, like he's been in so many things. Everybody's already talked about how he's been
in Dark Knight.
He was in. God, he's been in everything. He's been. The last thing I saw him in was Ready Player One. Okay. He was the bad guy in Ready Player One.
Only saw half of that.
And he was great in that. He was in something just very recently. Other than that, though. He's great. I think he'll be great. It's obvious that he's a shapeshifter. They've already posted screenshots of him being in his human form and stuff like that. So it apparently is rumored that he's going to be infiltrating Shield and getting into there, which at this point, with Skrulls being in there and the Hydra being in there, who the hell is Hydra. Not like, where the hell is the security for Shield? What's going on with this? It's crazy.
It imploded from the inside.
It's ridiculous, but anyway, so I think that I feel like everything is going to be focusing on him being the main villain. Did you ever see any of the? I don't know if there's shows for it for Secret Invasion or this. Secret Invasion. That was the comic book series that dealt with the Skrulls, and they basically took over different Marvel characters that they like.
I saw an animated version of it.
There was an animated version, really?
Yes.
I'll have to look that up because I read the books a long time ago. I can vividly now see green Skrull with the chin, with the fucking
Thanos chin, but with the Captain America shield and everything, the whole uniform on. Yes.
Yeah, I'll have to look that up because I mean I have the books and stuff like that, but I haven't read them in so long, so a lot of it's kind of eluded me for right now. But yeah, so that seems like the premise. We're looking at who is a Skrull, who's infiltrated where, who's who. A lot of people and a lot of things I've read online are alluding to like this leading into, Avengers 4. Whether or not, I don't know how much credence I take into this. A lot of people are suggesting that maybe like there are currently Skrulls infiltrated in the Avengers 4 movie.
I've heard that mentioned.
Oh, maybe like Coulson is a Skrull. Well, I mean, he's in they were saying that because he's alive, but not alive in the movie universe.
But in TV, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., yes.
Even though they are connected, yes. So I mean, he's I guess alive, but
he's alive because of the Kree blood. Or no, the Skrull blood.
I honestly, I only watched one season of the show. My mom was
season
like,
5 now, sir.
I know. I'm so behind. I will have to check that out. That's one thing that I do need to because it's canon.
It is very important to.
I mean, there are crossovers and stuff like that. Yes. So, but anyway, I mean, we have the
in the trailer we have Samuel Jackson, a young Samuel Jackson.
Young Samuel, dude. We're talking about like Pulp Fiction, or even earlier than that. Right? Like we're talking about like way young. Yeah, right. Young Samuel Jackson. Which now we'll have to see because Marvel has already proven that they know they've got this technology for de-aging down pat.
Yes,
they showed it originally with in Iron Civil War. With Iron
Man, Tony Stark's
Stark and
thing
stuff.
called Barf.
The Barf.
Yeah.
And that was amazing. That was incredible when I first saw it. I remember being so shocked. I was blown away. Yeah. And then seeing it again in Ant-Man twice, because Ant-Man 1 we first, and then Ant-Man 2 with Diane Keaton. Is that it? Is that it? No. Who? I don't remember. What's the girl? No, who is it? I'm gonna break because I don't know.
Who is it?
I know who it is. Michelle Pfeiffer. Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yes.
So she looked ridiculously awesome in the movie with the de-aging process.
Yes.
Straight freaking Catwoman age.
Catwoman turn.
Yeah.
Janet Van Dyne.
Yeah. So I mean, they've already proven that they can do it.
Mm-hmm.
Now the only thing is that was for little bits of time.
Yeah.
So can they do that for an entire movie convincingly and not have you sit there? I guess that's my question.
Yeah,
Are you going to sit there looking at Samuel L. Jackson the whole time, taken out of the movie, and be like, I'm waiting for the moment when I see him not be CG, I don't look for that stuff, but I know I just see the internet comments going crazy already after the movie releases.
If it's noticeable, someone's gonna make noise about it, but I don't look for it. If I see it, it is what it is.
I think I mean from what we've seen, it looks so good so far. I mean you also have Samuel L. Jackson that doesn't really age. So I mean, it didn't probably take very much. You just put some hair on him and go.
Yeah.
But so yes, young Samuel L. Jackson.
So in that trailer, just to stick with the Samuel Jackson, we see him in a facility.
Yes,
he's holding a alien gun.
Yes, doing an autopsy.
Doing an autopsy on an alien. And he's holding a blue ice bag over his left eye.
Yes.
So this is maybe the start of when something happened to his eye, or it actually happened. Something happened to his eye.
There's been a lot of talk about that.
That's the first thing I noticed when I saw that. So
because there's a promo photo that also has him with a scar over his eye and like some bandages. So people are like, is that just like an eye wound that he's using the ice pack for, or is it something that's like leading towards his? I'll put money on it. I'll put money on it right now that the person that betrays him is a Skrull.
Yeah.
Because he said it in.
He did.
He said it in
Avengers.
I think it was Winter Soldier.
Winter Soldier.
When Cap came up and was talking to him, and he was just like, the last time I trusted somebody, I lost an eye.
Yeah.
I guarantee we are seeing that moment in this episode or in this movie.
Yeah.
I guarantee that a Skrull infiltrated, got his trust, and he was just like friends with him maybe for a long time.
Probably,
who knows?
Yes, probably.
We don't know.
Yeah.
And that was the reason that he lost the eye. Now, whether that wound or whether the ice pack is actually part of that, some people have said that maybe like the wound that he has like infects and goes down. For some reason, it really makes me mad. Everyone that I read online talks about like him like literally losing an eye, and that doesn't make sense to me because we see he still has the eye. It's just bad.
His eye gets scanned.
Yeah, it's just like whited over and he can't see.
Right.
It's not he didn't lose the eye.
Right.
Like he still has the eye. Anyway, that's a whole different thing. But yeah, I guarantee we see that in this movie.
Yes.
For sure. the part of the trailer that I really loved, I thought was really cool, and I thought they did really well, was the hero.
Yeah.
Where it says her,
hero.
And then goes to hero.
Yeah,
my God. That was like so perfectly done. They did that so well.
And here I am at home thinking that I saw that myself, and I was like, "Oh, that was for me."
No, it was so good. I mean, the trailer was done really well. Like the action points and the action beats that they showed. Her punching the old lady on the bus,
of course,
like showing that.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of that, like I also read another thing that was talking about like timeline and stuff like that, where like it does have a lot to do with the subway in apparently an LA area, or is I guess the location, and like her being on the subway, or her, like when you see her in the green and blue suit, she's kind of underground in a subway area. Apparently, like the subway system that she's in, people have already confirmed like which one it is, which area it is, and it was like built in 91, because there's not a lot of like subway traffic in LA. They don't do a lot of underground. It's not like New York and stuff. So I thought that was pretty interesting. But
I read something. I read or watched a video or review or whatever, and someone was saying that they thought that was like present day, and I didn't see that because everyone I saw around her was dressed in 90s gear. I mean, it was not like so much so 90s gear, but you could tell that it wasn't today's.
I think that the majority, if not all the movie, is going to be in the 90s. I mean, you see her dressed in the 9 Inch Nails t-shirt. You see like, I you know, it. There's already been people that broke this down, and you can kind of get an idea of what might be occurring, because it looks like, you know, obviously she was here. There's shots of her like kind of
training
in a like in something that is like going into space, possibly looking into space. A Kree ship appearing in space. Looks like she's probably getting abducted. There's shots of her having things to her head, so possibly an issue with like, and based on what she says later, erasing her memories, taking her memories away. When she comes back, she's, you know, you see all the shots of her as a kid, and I love those, the way they did it, like staggered ages and everything of her like falling and also rising to the occasion in different time periods, and her being like, you know, I feel like I've been here before. I've been here, and I had a life here, and stuff. So yeah, I mean, there's it's going to be. I mean, well, of course, Marvel's going to make. You know, they're going to make the fucking $1 billion on it. So it's not like it's not like a question about like whether it's going to succeed.
I mean, first of all, it's the first female-led
Marvel
movie. She's supposed to be, of course, according to the strongest, and
like possibly as strong as Thanos with the gauntlet. Because she has I was reading up on it that because I have books for Captain Marvel and stuff like that since she's taken the reign, because of course it was Marvel before, and then she was Miss Marvel, and then she took over the reins and everything. So once she's taken it over, it's her powers at the end of the trailer are when she starts to kind of flare up. It's called the binary. She goes binary, and it is supposed to be like the opposite of a black hole, where a black hole sucks everything in. This is like a white hole where it explodes out all the light and energy, and that's why she's considered like, that's the power that gives her the ability to be the strongest Marvel character in the universe. So
yeah, I get the I got a quote here from, not much a quote as it is just a statement out of this Marvel book that I have. book's called Absolutely Everything You Need to Know. It's a lot of stuff in it. It says Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers' super strength is matched only by her iron will. Her ability to absorb energy means that the more power that is thrown at her, the stronger her next attack becomes. And that's, more or less from the comics. So, but I'm sure they're gonna stick.
Yeah, but I'm sure they're pulling from source material and stuff like that. I don't think that they would every comic or all the movies kind of have deviated and done their own thing, but they're still usually pulling from some kind of source material and stuff like that. Even like Tony's,
at least 75%.
Tony's like nanobot suits and stuff like that. So anyway, let's move on. We've kind of sat on this topic for a little bit. Let's go. We're gonna go next to the new Joker footage that just came out. Joaquin Phoenix in a Joker movie. Everyone's already kind of been aware of that, but they have released a strange amount of footage lately, to be honest, for a movie that's very early in production. Very early in production. We got what was called test footage, like a screen test footage and stuff like that, or camera test footage for Joaquin in his makeup. But it was directed. It had music. It had camera movement. It had the flash. Yeah. I mean, there was a lot going on in that quote unquote test footage. So, but looking at it, I mean, and you can even see like in the simplest moments, you can see Joaquin's like direction with this character. The stale him just standing there, fading into just a little smile, and then straight into bam, oh my god, I just got punched in the face with a clown. So very, very creepy, very cool. It's such a different direction than any other Joker that we've seen so far, especially with the makeup. Definitely has a flair of the Killing Joke because of the storyline that people are assuming with it being a failed comic and like him like trying to make it and failing and getting upset about it. But it looks like it's definitely deviating from the it looks like kind of more Ledger-esque when it comes to him just applying his own makeup as opposed to it being a Jack Nicholson or something like that, where it was like he actually got burned by the Acme acid and everything. But really good. I'm loving it so far. Personally, I think it's gonna be. I'm all on board. I think it's gonna be a really cool standalone.
I'm interested to see exactly what goes on with it, where the direction they're going with it. I think they're probably, by the end of it, we're probably going to like Joker a little more than we're supposed to.
You're going to be on Team Joker. You're going to be on and I think that's the benefit in a way that I do not foresee any kind of Batman in this movie.
No.
Do we see Wayne? I 100% think so.
Wayne
because
something, Wayne Tower. Wayne.
In the footage that they showed, the small footage that they showed of him coming out of the train, it did look like kind of what the people have kind of like attuned it to Bane and the rich versus the poor and like like kind of a whole society kind of aspect to the movie. Because they all the people on the train had signs saying kill the rich, eat the rich. There was one that said eat the rich. What the fuck? But there was one that said something about Wayne. I can't remember what it said, but it said something Wayne. And so obviously Thomas Wayne and we've seen images of him running for mayor and stuff like that, so it's going to definitely deal with like him probably at a younger age, but I'm sure Bruce is young. Like, I mean, I don't think there's any Batman at this point and stuff like that. It should be, to be honest, it should be a Joker movie. Like in my opinion, I think that it needs to stay a Joker movie. Doesn't need to be a Batman versus Joker or anything like that. fuck, I mean, we're probably going to be getting that anyway with the... Well, I don't know. Even with the Harley and fucking Joker movie, I don't even know if there will be Batman in that because we don't even know what's going on with Batman right now. But,
right. Who?
Right.
I love Batman, but come on.
I know. There's...
They're not giving me anything right now.
Yeah. So... but yeah, his name's Arthur Fleck. Yes. Is the name for him. Whether I mean whether that's his actual name, whether that's what he goes by, stage name, who knows? I mean, it's way too early at this point.
It's been put out there that no one really knows what his real name is.
Yeah. Well, I was going to ask you. So, what's your opinion? Because the whole mythos of the Joker has been that no one knows. There's been so many different ideas and so many different versions of the Joker that there's no one. This is who the Joker is. This is how the Joker was made.
Very mysterious.
This is what happened.
Very mysterious.
I mean, are you happy or comfortable with a Joker movie that explains everything?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not mad at it. It gives you a chance to see where he comes from, maybe the origin of him, and then you can move on from that. Because we've already had all these renditions of him, whether it be animated or movie version or TV version, and so to see one that shows you where it all came from, that'd be awesome. I mean, I don't.
Yeah, I think I agree. I mean. A lot of people seem to be upset. Like, I mean, we don't need to know where he came from or why but I mean, if you're going to do it, and I feel like this is the right way to do it. I feel like if you're going to do it and you're going to explain an origin of Joker, do it in a standalone movie where it's about the Joker and not just like it's not a Batman movie where you just kind of like here's how Joker
he was born.
Came about.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like it's about this man, and you take an actor who really can just dive into the role. I mean, I'll like who knows if anyone will. I don't even think you can really compare this to the Heath Ledger role. The Heath Ledger role will stay one of the best Batman movies and best Batman roles of all time for that Joker. This is going to be a completely different thing. Like, it's a completely different role, completely different style of movie. I feel like I think he went into it because he was really thinking this is like not even a comic book movie. It's like he went into it as like the evolution of a man who loses everything and gets desperate and turns to fucking insanity at some point. So all right, so what's
Johnny Cash goes Joker
next? So this is something that I had seen and I was kind of just wanting some opinion from you about. Marvel has announced that on their Disney streaming app that's coming out, not out yet, but it's coming out. They have announced already that they for sure they are having at least a Loki and Scarlet Witch TV show starring Tom Hiddleston and Elizabeth Olsen. So we have the actual actors from the movies now transitioning to the TV series format in their streaming service.
Is this why we killed off Loki?
Well, is it why, or is it the benefit of we killed off Loki, but we know how popular that character is. We know there's fucking money there, so let's keep this going. I mean, I honestly think it's a really smart move, to be honest. I am so excited about this because honestly, fuck, dude, like this has never fucking been done before. I mean, the closest we got was fucking Daredevil, Jessica Jones, all the like the Netflix Marvel series, because they were able to elude and say, "Oh yeah, the incident in New York, or the big green guy, all that stuff."
The guy with the hammer.
But there was never like direct correlation.
Right.
This, I think, is the first time you're going to see a major fucking studio, and they're limited series. They're going to be, I think, like I think I read it was 10 episodes or so. There's supposed to be additional heroes that could be incorporated that are I guess the way they worded it was like heroes that don't have their own standalone movies. So we might see Hawkeye in there. You might see you might even see some like Black Panther characters. People in the universe that aren't going to get their standalone movie could be incorporated into these shows or get their own TV show. I think it's a fantastic idea. I think it's a brilliant idea, to be honest, because, with all the other, like, especially on the DC side, unfortunately, just I'm not throwing them under the bus, but, I was actually a big fan of the DC universe, the CW, the Arrowverse.
Yes, Arrowverse.
I've always been a big fan of the Arrowverse and stuff. And it's not like maybe... it's still more campier TV, but at the same time, like, it's still good content. And I feel like if you're gonna separate, and DC separated it completely, they're like, nope, well, we have a Flash that everyone loves and watches every week, but sorry, we're gonna give our new Flash.
I'm gonna go with Ezra.
We're gonna go. Yeah. So I mean, how do you feel about that? I mean, like, are you on board for stuff like that? Do you like it better one way or the other, as far as like having it separate for TV?
I would rather
movies?
It all be connected. I mean, if we have to jump to different timelines, because that is a thing, we can do that. True. But yes, we can always keep the same people and keep it all flowing together. That would be ideal. But
would you have put Barry Allen TV show CW into Justice League movie? Because I feel like it tonally probably wouldn't have been right.
It wouldn't have been right, I think, because...
However, they probably should have not had the tone that they had. So I guess it wouldn't have been a bad thing for them to do that. But I mean, I loved
Grant Gustin.
Yes. I mean, I love both of them, actually, to be honest. Like I love the TV show. Yeah. I actually really liked the Flash in the Justice League and stuff like that. I thought he was funny. I thought he had good comedic timing and stuff like that. So I had no problem with that. But I mean, that's kind of like the only one. I mean, you could have brought, if you brought one character over,
Stephen Amell could have been an Arrow
your entire
somewhere.
unite. But but that's not even, it is what it is. This is a conversation for a different day, because we could get into this. But I think Arrow is probably going to be going away.
I believe so,
sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're
7 seasons in on that one though.
The TV shows for the Disney app, the Marvel TV shows, are apparently being headed up by Kevin Feige. So that is the most exciting thing to me, because that means that they are going to be under the umbrella of the same person that has had this vision from start to finish.
That man's a genius, and everything he says goes.
Oh my God. No joke. I mean,
he hasn't let me down yet.
Take all my money.
Elizabeth Olsen, I think I just read an article earlier. I read into an article that, yes, I think the title said, another major confirmed person is alive from Infinity War. And her picture was there. So I can only assume. And what you're telling me now is that, and when I said Tom Hiddleston was killed off to probably do this, maybe she was as well. But
being said,
everyone's coming back.
It could be very easy for them to also just do a Loki prequel stuff he was doing, like bad Loki, mischievous Loki, while Thor's not around and shit like that.
Yes.
So, I mean,
can only imagine.
And you could even do the same thing, honestly, with Scarlet Witch. You could have her, because there was a big time period jump between the last movie, and Sokovia, and the
and she learned her powers. She was trained,
getting with Vision and stuff like that. Because Vision doesn't have a solo movie. You could have Vision come into the TV show. Also, I mean, there's all kinds of cool stuff that you could do, which is awesome.
I think I saw somewhere they said that there was a poster for Doctor Strange, the second movie, and she was on it.
Really?
Maybe she's in training with.
That would be cool.
The mystic arts. I don't know.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
I have opinions about what I would like to see in the DC side of things, but we'll get to that on another episode. The last thing I was going to talk about when it comes to the DC app or the Disney app is going to be of course they have Jon Favreau making the Star Wars TV show. It's going to be 10 episodes is what I heard. $100 million budget. Wow. So they're throwing some money at it, which is great. Yeah. And give that man some money. He obviously, he started the Iron Man series. Yeah. And when they kicked him out of that, he went to Disney and they gave him Jungle Book, and now he's doing Lion King. So I mean,
he started all of this. Honestly.
He's the man knows how to make a movie, and all the other movies
stem from that one movie.
It's so good, yeah.
Iron Man.
Like I said, give him the money, let him do his thing, and I completely am on board for all of that.
He also played a good Happy in that movie.
He did play good Happy. I liked him as Happy Hogan. I actually my favorite Happy Hogan was him in Spider-Man.
Really?
Because he was so pissy about Tony wanting to talk to Spider to Peter Parker.
Yeah.
And it just every opportunity he got, he was just like, I think I'll just hang around. Yeah. I think I'll stay behind. He's like, just a close follow maybe, or a wide follow. He's like, I'll be right here. That was my favorite Happy Hogan. I think that was the best
hilarious
one. Other news, speaking of the Disney app, the DC Universe app.
Rewind just 1 second.
Okay.
The Disney app?
Yes.
Is that costly?
So, yes. I do not think I know the pricing of it yet.
No, I was just.
I'm going to assume that it's actually going to be similar price to what the DC app that I'm about to talk about.
Yep.
Let me just double check here to make sure I don't have any information, but I do not believe I do. It's like I said, it's still early. I believe they're probably going to be very competitive. Oh,
yeah.
$5
a month, basically.
$5 a month. That's competitive.
I mean, and like I said, it's still the same thing as DC.
That might be early because it hasn't come out yet. Every other service, they may have tiers.
Right.
So you may start at $5, but if you want no commercials, then you get this much, and then if you want something else, you get this much. Just like Hulu, Netflix, all the other services have their tier-based products and stuff. And because speaking of which, DC Universe has their app that just launched not too long ago. The price for that is $7.99. You can do $79 for a year.
Yes, or you can do $5.99 and get 3 extra months.
Oh,
or was it $7.99 and get 3 extra months?
Well, I don't know.
I think it was $5.99 a month.
I just saw the $7.99 and the $80 plan.
Yeah.
I'm actually I'm pretty sure my birthday is coming up next month, so I'm that's actually what I'm going to be asking for my birthday is to get the year plan.
I got the green light on that one
because from everything I've been told and everything I've read and everything that I've seen online and stuff like that, it's got so much content. Yeah. Plus, you're getting Titans with it.
Yes,
that's coming out.
Titans, Swamp Thing,
the DC Dark stuff. Is that coming to that?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so.
Wow.
You get to read digital comics, and you get to
yes, I saw that too.
All the animated and older DC movies, meaning like Christopher Reeve's Batman.
I've heard it
Superman,
has everything.
yes.
Pretty much anything that DC's touched, you get.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Pretty awesome. Yeah, I mean, like, all everything, like all kinds of different stuff. I'm actually excited about that for the reason that I think you would be excited about it, because of all the incredible animated stuff that they have. Yes. The animated library that they have is so vast and so good.
And Young Justice is coming there as well this second season.
And see right there. I mean, that
season. Anyway, that's.
I'm sold. Yeah. I'm on board, man. Yeah. I think that's going to be. I think it's. I mean, Disney or DC. Sorry, DC. Rather may not be. Whatever your opinion is, may not be doing the best when it comes to their
I will always support
universe, but ironically, their DC Universe app, I think, is going to be a pretty big hit.
Should be.
It's coming in an age where the only thing that I worry about, which was the thing that kind of was the holdback for me, was that we have so many streaming services right now.
So many.
And for your average person, depending on say you're middle class, average, making decent money and stuff like that, to get Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, all these different, it's just one more. Now you're gonna have Disney, then you're gonna have how many more are next, and like. I think it's going to be forcing a lot more people to be cutting the cable when it comes, or cutting cable out and stuff like that, and going to more streaming services for that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, the fact that at this point now, this will be my like fourth streaming service that I'm paying for. That's kind of like I said, the thing that sold me was the yearly plan that I could just ask for as a gift. If I was going to be paying for it monthly, I probably wouldn't have done it.
Yeah, no.
If I can ask for, because maybe I'm wrong. Is Hulu and Netflix, they don't offer any kind of yearly plan, do they? Or do they?
They do.
They do. You can pay it by year.
Because I don't think we're paying.
I pay by month. Maybe I'm doing it wrong.
I don't think we're paying by the month, because I never heard the wife say anything about a Netflix bill or a Hulu bill or anything like that. But
I'll have to look into that, because if they have a year, usually the yearly cost is less than the monthly cost. So, anyway, that's getting off track. But so $79 for a year, which seems pretty fair. I mean, that's you're getting 20% off of the. And no, we're not like paid for this information. I'm just interested in it because I want to watch Superman movies and shit.
Exactly.
But yeah, it's, for $7.99 versus $79 for the year, you're gonna save $20 or 20% off the bill. So that seems like a pretty good deal to me. Like I said, good content. It looks like that you're going to be getting in a vast amount of content, lots of
quality,
lots of good stuff. Yes. That they're not holding back on the and new content, like not just Titans, but they have all kinds of new actual DC related shows and content about like DC.
And I'm sure there's more to come.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So I'm not worried about that at all. So next on the list is Heroes in Crisis. Okay. So this is a little bit of news, just something small. This is this whole thing has been kind of spoilers, so I apologize to the audience. Spoilers from the get-go. Spoilers. But
Heroes in Crisis.
This is even. I'm going to try to not be too much spoilers, but if you're reading my docket, then you're probably seeing some of the spoilers. Today dropped the first issue of Heroes in Crisis, as far as I read. I haven't got my copy yet. But Heroes in Crisis, it's another in the Crisis line where it's a massive crossover series in the DC universe. Okay. And it was like what I read about it seemed very interesting.
Okay.
I don't know the whole story, but I know that it dealt with, and I have to apologize all the fans that are listening that are DC aficionados and read every book. Please be easy on me because I don't read every book. But Batman had built a shelter of some sort on the Kent farm. So he took the farm and he turned it into some kind of shelter for kids or youth, like
at-risk youth or
for like meta youth and stuff like that.
Okay.
So like a bunch of different, younger abled people were there.
Yes.
And there was a mass shooting that killed off a bunch of the characters, and one of them was Wally West, which was a big deal apparently on the book. And I now I want to get that book even more, but which it's probably going to be triple the price. But anyway, I thought that was really interesting and grabbed my eye because I mean that's a really cool. No, I'm sorry, I take that back. It's not really cool. It's horrible and tragic, but it's interesting that they have progressed, because the crisis line's been going on forever. And you always see heroes die. I mean, that's when you saw
resurrected
Supergirl, and you saw no, was it Superman? No, I'm thinking of the Crisis on Infinite Earths. Was Supergirl died, or Flash died. There's been a bunch of characters that died in the Crisis series, and they've all come back and whatever the case may be. But so this is just the next generation of that. But I thought it was very interesting that they brought in whatever your political affiliation is and stuff like that is completely fine. But I thought it was interesting that they brought in mass shootings because it was meant to be like a mass shooting,
Gotcha. Like something
a parallel to like a school mass shooting and stuff like that. And so I thought that was very interesting that they were, taking that approach to it and stuff, and it being kind of making people aware of the seriousness of the stuff that we're dealing with on a daily basis. We have something like that going on all the time. So anyway, I just wanted to kind of bring that up because I saw that and I thought it was
nothing
very
about
interesting.
I'm gonna look into it now. I'm researching as you're talking.
What are your opinions when it comes to? I mean, I know that kind of gets into political, and we don't need to get super political or anything like that. But I mean, how are your feelings about comics getting into political atmosphere and stuff like that? Is that okay, or does it need to just be?
It's okay with me. Myself, I don't like politics, but it has to happen. It goes on. I just try to shield myself away from it from time to time. But yeah, definitely. Like they say, stuff like sports shouldn't be in politics, but we have great people like LeBron that are standing up for rights of a lot of people, whatever race they are. I mean, doesn't matter. But
and doing great things. He's sitting there opening schools and stuff like that. So.
Community stuff. It's.
I've always my sister hates it because I always hated LeBron. I hated him. Because I mean he is he is kind of an over the top guy, but at the end of the day, I mean he's a great basketball player. I mean you can't deny he's a great basketball player. You can hate him because he's a great basketball player. You can hate him and say I love Jordan because I'm a '90s kid, and no, Jordan's my guy forever. I don't care who the new guy is; it'll always be Jordan. Yeah. But I mean he's still doing really great things. And I remember the first time I watched Trainwreck. Did you ever watch Trainwreck?
No,
the movie. It's a comedy that has Amy Schumer.
Yeah, Amy Schumer, LeBron,
and LeBron, and he was so fucking funny in the movie.
I watched the scene,
and I got so pissed off because I was like, "Fuck!"
I don't want to laugh at this.
Funny, why is he funny? I was so upset that he was actually pretty funny. So I remember that being kind of a horrible thing.
Horrible thing. Now really politics, comics showing real life I'm okay with that all day, because there's a lot of us that don't watch the news or don't even know what's going on in the world. So if something like this can
educate somebody and illuminate some issue,
even if they're not even into politics at all, and they pick up this book and they see something going on, and then they see it later in life, they may see something on the news and like, wow, this is really going on. I was just reading about this in my comic books, but this is real life.
Well, I mean, comics have done that forever. I mean, they've sprinkled. I mean, go all the way the fuck back to Captain America punching Hitler in the face. Like, I mean, it's always kind of been there. Yeah. It's just like whether society was on board or not. Like, right. I don't know if there was anybody that was like, oh shit, I feel bad for Hitler, but I doubt that was the case. But now we're a little bit more split and stuff like that when it comes to certain issues. But I don't think anyone is on board for shooting. So I think that's pretty. I just thought that was pretty cool that they kind of illuminated that issue and kind of brought that to a comic book level, which, like you said, a kid's going to pick it up and look at it and be more aware of a situation that is going on in our current life and everything. Right. So let's jump to our next topic, which is jump. This is going to kind of lead into our main topic. Our main topic today is going to be the Netflix Marvel universe and kind of their direction, where they're going with everything, and kind of the future of it. That being said, Daredevil, the third season trailer dropped today. It's I wanted to break it down a little bit. It's a teaser, like you said. Yes. I mean, it's something that's going to be just giving us an idea of the main figures, which is obviously Fisk and the return of Matt. How we saw at the end he was bandaged and stuff like that, giving the kind of the look from the comic and stuff like that. But I mean, I think it played really well. I really liked the trailer because it like you were saying, it kind of shows Kingpin becoming Kingpin. Yeah. Like, I like the white suit, man. Like, that looks so dope. Like, I really, really liked that. He was always in all black in the first one and stuff like that, and it was such a focus on his suit in the first one. I loved that. I thought that was so cool. The mentality of him, like being so precise about his cufflinks and being so precise about his suits and everything like that, and having him get into the white suit and showing that, fucking perfect, man. That was so cool. And then I love the transition of the stark white going into the dark and gritty and the fucking beat the fuck up Matt Murdock, like blood out of his nose and stuff like that, next to a roaring fire and shit like that. And it was very, to me, symbolic of him throwing basically Murdock away. Yeah,
because the shades went into the fire.
Yeah, he was, and he kind of they alluded to that in the cutscene. What was it at the end of Iron Fist? Was it at the end of Iron Fist?
I believe so.
Or the after credit scene, which was weird to have in a TV show, but the after credit scene where he was sitting there talking to the priest and he was like, I'd rather what was the I'd rather blah 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 blah. I have it somewhere, I thought, in my doc, but maybe not. But he was saying that he would rather die as a devil than live as Matt Murdock or something of that nature. It was I mean, he was basically saying that he was done. Like, when we last saw him, he was full on, I've kind of given up the cowl, I've kind of given up the Daredevil life, and I am full on wanting to just do my lawyer thing and just be Matt Murdock, and that's it. And it seems like after the Defenders, he was like, okay, well, no, like after the issues that he went through with Elektra and everything like that, and whatever the jump from that to him being like hurt and bandaged and in whatever place we're gonna find him in, starting to hear he's done. He's full on Daredevil now. He's going to just take that responsibility and go with it. So I love that imagery. I think it was really, really a cool way to present it, and a really a cool way to represent like the birth or I guess death of Matt Murdock, and the birth of the full on going forward with Daredevil. Your thoughts?
My thoughts are I'm ready for it already.
Yeah.
It's been a long time coming.
I don't know if we have a date. Do we have a date?
Did they say October 19th?
Oh, October
19th. Yeah.
Oh, real soon.
Real soon. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Get
awesome.
Ready. Get ready. Get your popcorn.
Get your popcorn.
Dude, it's I'm really ready for it. I'm happy that they're going in it seems like the direction is going to be really gritty, really
you're a fan of the darker, grittier Marvel TV series?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, sometimes I do like that. I mean,
some people aren't. Some people because they've kind of had a little bit more lightheartedness when it comes to the Marvel movies.
Yeah.
And it seems like the TV shows are a little bit, but they seem a little bit more grounded, maybe more like realistic to real life.
Yes,
so it's a little bit more,
it has to be dark to an extent because
it's
portraying what
life.
It is. Yes, exactly.
That kind of leads us into the main topic about getting into the Marvel universe going forward with the TV shows specifically. When we're talking about Iron Fist, we're talking about Luke Cage, we're talking about is there going to be another Defenders series? Is there Jessica Jones coming forward and stuff like that? Last Jessica Jones was, to me, phenomenal. I loved it. I thought the last Jessica Jones was great. Iron Fist, I'm still like most people on the fence. Did you finish it?
I finished it, yes.
Okay,
yes.
So I mean, I guess we'll chat about that for a little bit. So Iron Fist, to me, this season was better, in my opinion. If I wanted to put a and a lot of people have said this, I think this season was better. It had its flaws. I think the 10 episode run is better than the 13 episode run. I'm all for that. If you can, I don't know if it was just because the last season wasn't as big a hit. I honestly thought that the first season of Iron Fist kind of killed the momentum of the TV series.
It did.
Like Marvel
it wasn't
stuff.
bad, but it slowed it down.
Yeah, sure. Like everything before it,
it was just going.
Again,
it was rolling.
First season Jessica Jones, first season Daredevil, second season Daredevil, first season Luke Cage, and then you hit Iron Fist, and you're just kind of like, whoa, okay, yeah. So it did kind of, the only thing I will say about this, I mean, as far as the points go. It was definitely better than the first one. It actually had decent martial arts. Now we you have Iron Fist actually wearing a mask a little bit and stuff like that. You have the actual mask,
lower half of his mouth.
You have the actual mask, but Finn Jones it seemed like he was wearing a mask a little bit more. Because that helped with him getting a stunt double to not have to worry about.
There you go. Yeah.
that kind of stuff as much, so you could have a stunt double a little bit more often, because I don't think he can. I mean, I know that he did a lot of the martial arts because he talked about it in interviews and stuff like that, but I did think the martial arts was better. It was awesome to see him in the like old school white and actual mask Iron Man or Iron Fist suit. I thought that was really cool. It just, for me, it took a long time to get to the fist, if that means anything. It like same kind of issue that I had with, I mean, that pretty much everyone had with the first one, is you don't see him actually using the Iron Fist ever, and the second one, you finally do, but I'm not gonna lie, Colleen Wing stole this season. Like it might as well been like Colleen Wing and
Danny
and the Iron Fist. and that was like, I guess my main takeaway was that I think she was a big part of it, and I mean all the way up into the end, we all see that she's kind of taking she's protecting New York while Danny is away, while him and Ward are off doing their thing. The plot hole for me that I never really got was that they, like, in the comics, they had talked about where she had kind of like merged with Danny, and that's how she got some Iron Fist. And there's multiple Iron Fist that at the same time in the comics, so you can have multiple Iron Fists in the comics. But the way they kind of portrayed it in the TV show is that it's the Iron Fist, and you take his power away, or he has the power. So when she took the power, it seemed like, okay, he's done. Like, he doesn't have power anymore. And then, not to jump ahead, but like you jump to the end credit scene, and he has his power back. Now,
2 glowing fists.
To point onto that, so in the comics, we have Orson Randall. Orson Randall was the Iron Fist before Danny. He was kind of I think they said Vietnam era Iron Fist or World War I Iron Fist. He was Iron Fist during one of the different ages of a different war, and he had dual pistols. And he was able to, like in the comic imagery, he had glowing pistols. So I know that they're pulling from that. Now, in my opinion, like the whole shooting the bullet out of midair,
2 bullets stopping 1 bullet in midair, sir.
I would have been fine if like it was like he just pulled the triggers, the guns went off, and then they just cut to black, and that was it. I don't have to see like 2 bullets intersecting with 1 bullet. Like I didn't buy that. Anyway, that aside, I'm interested to see where it's going. Like I said, I liked this season more. I still thought that there wasn't much Iron Fist, and it only made me more excited for a Colleen Wing or Daughters of the Dragon. I'd like to see a Daughters of the Dragon series. That's what I want to see at this point.
I think I heard Fiki say that it's not off the table. I mean,
it's something that might be possible.
They're working on success at this point. Anything that's successful, and they're like, okay, let's go this route then.
If that's what we're gonna do, we'll do it. I think at this point with that series, that's what you got to do. You're kind of just fluid at this moment. That you're gonna just kind of deviate to, this is what people like. Let's just do this thing.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, that being said, I did like Ward a lot better. I thought his character had a much better arc and a much better like storyline, and
that's
stuff like that.
Where it didn't feel like Iron Fist movie to me. Felt like we had a lot of Ward story.
Yes,
he's having a baby. We know that about him. I mean, his sister Joy. There was a lot of Joy going on. Davos was a lot of Davos going on.
A lot of Davos,
and even
And granted, he's the antagonist.
Yes.
But still, like the point I see you're making is that there just wasn't a lot of Iron Fist.
Not a Typhoid Mary. I mean, even
which I liked that, and I'm excited to see where that's going. But it also seemed like it took a long time to get to that as well. Like the Typhoid Mary stuff. Whether it's Typhoid Mary, Bloody Mary, we saw her two personalities. Yes. We saw Mary and we saw Walker. So it seems like they're building that up to now it's going to be either Bloody Mary or Typhoid Mary. So we don't know yet. TBD for another season and stuff like that. Well, I mean, they're going to do another season, I'm sure. Yeah. I mean, with all the loose ends that they left open, I mean, I'm sure they will. But I mean,
all the Iron Fists always felt like that. The first season felt like Harold, Ward, Joy. It was, and Danny was supposed to be like a brother, like a long lost brother, and it just felt like a story that had everybody else's story in it.
You look at all the other series, and that's.
They get straight to the point. They get to everything.
It's all about that character's progression.
Yes.
I mean, you look at Jessica Jones. The whole damn series is about Jessica Jones and her transition, her life, her past, her obstacles that she's getting over. I mean,
Luke did come in and have sex with her, but that's about it.
Yeah, I like that was actually on the rewatch. I was watching it and like knowing that, you know, in Luke Cage he was with
Claire.
And seeing them meet up again and stuff like that, and he was like, "It's nice seeing you," and I was like, "You motherfucker, you cheating bastard." But all the other series have had that same mythos of this character's progression from start to finish. And yes, you have like, I mean, even in Luke Cage, the new Luke Cage, which I fucking loved, and I like could not get enough of the villain. Like, he was great. But even though I could not get enough of the villain, there was still plenty of Luke Cage story being told. It wasn't like, it's all about him or all about 5 other people and Luke Cage. It was fucking Luke Cage
starts out
and their villain
getting out of jail and going to the streets and seeing that everybody is totally behind him.
So that being said, well, I mean, do you think we're going to see another Defenders series? I've heard mixed things. I've heard people say yes. I've heard people say no.
I want it.
Do we want another Defenders?
I want
it. Or are we okay with just these characters kind of intermixing every once in a while? Because I'll say my favorite fucking Iron Fist is the Iron Fist in fucking Luke Cage.
Okay, yeah. When he's like, trying to get
when he's in
balance your chi.
That 1 or 2 episodes. That's like the best I've seen him be in it.
Yeah.
You know, like that's the most like Iron Fisty. Iron Fisty. Just right up in there.
Yeah. No, it's everyone on everyone else's show is great.
But we need maybe at least one more Defenders.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Just to kind of round it out.
Yeah.
I'd say maybe one more would be fine. And then after that, maybe they mix in a little bit in each other's series. But I wouldn't keep it going too long.
I'd say have it take time, like they're doing for this.
Not like every year.
Yeah,
but like
you know how long it took for
3 years pass and then you get another one.
Daredevil.
Yeah.
It seemed like it took a while for this season to come. So
and same thing with Jessica Jones. Her second season didn't come for like 2 years or something.
So yeah, give it some time. I think let them develop a little more the characters and go in and out of each other's shows. But yeah, I think we should have another one at some point.
For sure. Comicbook.com is reporting, quote, what you see above is a pretty big indicator, and this is on their page that's talking about it. What you see above is a pretty big indicator that Netflix is done with the Defenders as one of its original series. These kinds of Facebook pages change changes. So what they're talking about is that they changed the Defenders Facebook page from the Defenders to like another name, and so they're like, oh, if you're gonna change your Facebook page, you're not doing it without consequence and stuff like that. But like there's plenty of other reports that's contradict that, so we'll just have to wait and see for actual full reports. I don't think the series are going away. We obviously, like we were just talking about, we're getting another Daredevil. I do not see a world where we're not getting another Jessica Jones, because that series is phenomenal. Luke Cage, I love Luke Cage. I think it's really good. I love the one thing I will say about the Defenders is I loved how they mixed in each individual character's show.
I know what you're talking.
The colors, the music, everything like that. And then one thing I was watching kind of pointed out that as they became a team, all the colors in the scenes started to mix together. You'd get reds and purples whenever Jessica and Daredevil were together, and then it got to a point where it was almost like gray once they had all become one, and stuff like that. So I mean, I hope for another one. I'll leave it at that and say that I hope for another one. But the standalones and stuff like that, I feel like we definitely get one or two more Daredevils. We definitely get one or two more Jessica Jones. Luke Cage hasn't done as well, even though I really actually like it quite a lot. I say at least one more. I'm on the fence whether... I mean, I feel like with all the loose ends, we have to have at least one more Iron Fist. The only thing I haven't brought up and talked about, and we're gonna pick this up on another episode, is
Punisher.
And we'll pick up Punisher on another episode, because that's kind of out there too, but hasn't really transitioned into the core of the Defenders and stuff like that.
But definitely, I want another one of those.
But that's gonna do it for us. We're gonna wrap it up here and say goodnight to you guys. I hope you enjoyed the conversation. If you did, please like and share. We're on Twitter, like we said at the beginning. Dawson at 108 for me, Big Ant 601 for Anthony. And we have our official, the NP official for the podcast itself. So if you have any questions, if you have anything that you'd like reviewed, if you want to see any more content, if you just want to leave a comment or a question for us, let us know. We'd love to hear from you guys. We're going to try to keep this at a weekly podcast format, so we'll be here every week doing at least this type of format, but there hopefully we'll also be doing some smaller content throughout the week. So again, hope you guys enjoyed this. Anthony, any closing remarks?
If you have any comments, just leave them. Let us know how we did for our first podcast. It's just
Comments
a very raw effort. Very raw effort.
Welcome, for sure.
Yes. Just tell us which direction you would like to see it go. We may not take it into consideration, but no, we're gonna do our thing, and you're probably gonna like it. But give us any feedback that you probably can, and we'll take it in consideration for real.
Thank you guys so much for listening and checking us out, and we will see you next time. Thanks, guys.
Later.